Hi, I'm Bethany, and welcome to the library. This is episode 4, and today we're going to begin talking about Christmas books. I say begin because I love Christmas, and there's a lot I want to share, and it's just too long. There's too much for one video. So I hope you're prepared for a multi-part mini series about Christmas. I'm really excited about it. We're going to do a few things. I'm going to talk about different books, of course, and then I'm also going to share some of the family traditions that I've incorporated in my home with my children and how I have used those traditions to weave in books to enrich the experience. So sometimes you'll see a direct link to it. You'll be like, yeah, I get that. That book is perfect for that tradition. And then other times you'll be like, is it a stretch? And to that I say possibly, but the goal is to integrate books into every corner of my home and my life and my children's life, and just to make it that it's as natural as breathing. That's the goal. So let's get started. I'm looking at my bookshelves right now, and I have 4 shelves for Christmas books alone. 4. So when I say there is a lot for us to go over, I'm not kidding. I love this. If you've been following me on social media, whether that's Twitter or TikTok or Instagram, you know I already have my trees decorated. Well, they're up. We haven't decorated the one tree yet, but we're going to. But the trees are up. The decorations are up. And if you're wondering why I did it, because I typically do it right after Thanksgiving, I just needed like an extra amount of joy, and putting up Christmas decorations is very joyful. Excuse me. Okay, let's start. Today I'm going to talk about, of all the Christmas books that I have, the ones that I notice that my children return to the most consistently. Now I'm not saying these are our most favorite books. It's just the books that I see year after year that we gravitate towards the most, which is really special, right? Okay, so this is actually for all 4 shelves of books. It's a pretty small list of the ones that we tend to, have become tradition for us. And I love that. I love when a book becomes the tradition, right? So let's start with this one, The Night Before Christmas. This classic poem, you do know it's a poem, right? By Clement Moore, has been illustrated by multiple artists and illustrators. And I love that because I have different variations of this book. And I think that it provides an opportunity for you to see how a different artist, look, you can see the ring light in it. I'm getting professional. But you can see how different artists take this very classic poem and they interpret it in their own way. And it's beautiful. The illustrations that people come up with and their interpretation of this book, I love it. I love it so much. So that's one. And then the next, these 3 books are part of a series, but I got these books at a thrift store. Remember, I told you I buy a lot of books at thrift stores because they're like hidden gems. The Look and Find books. There's 6 in this series. I only have 3. I've not been able to find the other 3. I have looked for years. But this is Find Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Find Frosty, Look and Find The Night Before Christmas. And then the others are, well, they have them listed here, but I have not been able to find the other 3. The Look and Find books are classics, if you're familiar with them. And so what you'll have is usually a 2-page spread, and then you have to find these things here, these items. And my children love these books so much. They return to them year after year after year. In fact, I actually placed these books in our living room. Oh, look. This is how you know I got it at a thrift store. This is a classic like Goodwill sticker that they put on it. Because everything's color coded there. But anyways, these are fun. If you can find a variation of these, do it. Like, they're such good, like, put them in the middle of your coffee table. Kids love them. Adults love them. And it's just, it's, you know, screen-free entertainment. They're just fun. They're just really fun. Oh, you can see, like, mine are kind of worn. Can you see that? It's because they're well used, right? So I love seeing my kids, like, they like the picture books. I have chapter books that are Christmas themed. But I love seeing that these are the ones that they go, and I'll find them, like, all three of them curled up on the couch, poring over these books together. Is there anything cuter than seeing, like, especially if you have more than one child, seeing them curled up on a couch together, just doing an activity together? There is not. This is some of my favorites. Okay. So because that's a tradition that we return to year after year, another tradition that we have is every year I buy my children a Christmas ornament. Individual Christmas ornaments, one ornament for each child each year, to just, it's kind of like my interpretation of what their year has been, whether that reflects like what they're interested in, or maybe there's a milestone that they accomplished, or maybe they got really into like a TV or a book or a toy, and or a movie, and I want to remember that. And so every year I go and pick out Christmas ornaments. Now, I don't do this with their input. This is like mom's interpretation of what they were into that year. And then I show them the ornaments. And this year I noticed that they were like, wow, yeah, that's like really that really is very reflective. This tree in this room in the library, hold on. Now that we're official, you're on a tripod, not a stack of books anymore. So, okay, so you can see here, this tree is in my library, and so all of the ornaments are book themed, because of course they are. So this year I got myself this ornament. It says Happy Birthday Harry, from the Harry Potter series, of course, but this means quite a bit to me on a personal level, because for the last few years, my sweet child, my youngest, every year on my birthday, he makes me a Harry Potter birthday cake, which is so cute. It's like the sweetest thing ever. And he started it because a few years ago, something horrible happened, and I made myself a birthday cake because this terrible tragedy happened the week of my birthday, and I still wanted to celebrate my birthday. And so I made my own cake, and my son picked up on that, and he was like, why are you making your own cake? And I said, well, you know, that's something I wanted to do. I wanted to celebrate my birthday. I still wanted to remember my birthday in the middle of all of this. And so this sweet child, ever since then, he will not let me make my own birthday cake. He makes me a birthday cake, and he's taught himself how to bake so that he can make me a birthday cake. And he always asks me what type of cake I want. And because I know that, like, I want him to be, like, I don't want him to be discouraged, right? And so I don't want to say anything like I know that he can't do as far as like his skill level. So I always say, I want a Happy Birthday Harry cake. I want a Harry Potter cake. And I always change it because Harry gets a chocolate cake, but I don't like chocolate cake. And he read Harry Potter for the first time this year, and he was like, you don't get a Harry Potter cake because you always ask for vanilla. And I was like, I don't like chocolate. Anyways, so I'm going to set this here. But it's just such a sweet little tradition. So I add a book ornament to my tree, and then I pick out ornaments for my children that are reflective of their, of what they're interested in. So it's just a really sweet thing. Okay, last book, and this is probably my most favorite one to talk about, is this book, Letters by Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a series of letters that Tolkien wrote his children over the course of 20 years as Father Christmas. He illustrated the letters, and they would find it like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. It's the most precious thing ever. And so when I introduced Tolkien to my children, I'm a huge C.S. Lewis and Tolkien fan. I was thrilled that the first introduction my children had to Tolkien was letters from Father Christmas. Okay, look. So the way that it starts is the kids would write letters to Father Christmas, and the kids being Tolkien's kids. And then these are his actual illustrations that Tolkien did. And then some of the letters are very long, and then some of them are pretty short. This one in 1930 was pretty short, but if you time it correctly, you could start this book like Thanksgiving night or the day after Thanksgiving, and you can finish it Christmas Eve. And we have done this numerous times. What I love is that the characters are hilarious, and there's like several different storylines that continue over the 20-year period of these letters. And my children picked up on those storylines and have made references to the characters over the last few years. And so you would, like, when someone says like Santa's not real, my children will be like, but Father Christmas is. We have his letters, which is really cute to see. And then I don't know if I have it. I used to have a polar bear. I don't see it. I used to have a polar bear ornament because there's a hilarious character here who's a polar bear, and he's so funny. So if you like Tolkien, or you want a really sweet book that you can read aloud to your kids every night, this is it. This is the book, Letters from Father Christmas. It's so sweet. It's so enchanting. And you get to see Tolkien not as like the Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, right? Or Frodo, or characters from The Hobbit, or you get to see him, like, he writes these letters with such tenderness to his children, and you see the tenderness that he writes these letters to, and the thought that he puts into them. And it's so sweet and so enchanting. You just want more. This is a gift. Like, the fact that we have this collection of letters over the course of 20 years is such a gift. And I'm so glad that we get to take something that was so deeply personal to the Tolkien family, and we get to incorporate it into our own homes. And I'm forever grateful that this book has become such a vivid and active part of my children's Christmas. They love this book, and I love it too. And I'm so grateful. I bought this. I have several copies of this book because I love it so much. But I think I bought this like on Amazon a few years ago, and they came out with like a special edition of it, and I grabbed it. But it's just, you have like his writing. Actually, funny fact about this, Tolkien didn't want his children to catch on to the fact that he was handwriting these books. And so the letters, so he wrote, I think he was right-handed. He wrote, this is his left hand. And he wrote it in a squiggly fashion because he said Father Christmas was so old. I just love the creativity so much. So that is the first of our Christmas books that I'm going to be sharing with you. I would love to know, share a family Christmas tradition that you have. If you celebrate Christmas, I would love to know that. And I love hearing about other people's Christmas traditions. So thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.